Hi guys, very good day. My name is Vasanth. I'm a NEET expert. I actually kind of help the NEET aspirants to achieve their dreams. I've been doing this for more than 9+ years. And today we're going to look into an 8th standard chapter, and the chapter's name will be Reaching the Age of Adolescence. In this, in your class, what are the things that you need to learn when it comes to, reaching the age of adolescence, or will be taught, and whatever parts that you need to know will be explained in detail. Okay, so let's quickly get into the topic, shall we? So allow me a minute to get the screen up and running. I hope everybody is able to see the screen now. So the chapter's name is Reaching the Age of Adolescence. It's actually an 8th standard chapter. So let's quickly run and get into the topics, shall we? So these are the topics that we are going to cover in this video, which includes adolescence. We should know about adolescence, and we should know about puberty as well. And what are the changes that a human being undergo when it comes to puberty, and the secondary sexual characteristics that are found to be seen in both men and women, completely as human beings, and then the hormones which are actually going to initiate the process of reproduction, and the phases, reproductive phases of life in humans. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to cover in this video. So let's quickly jump into the first topic. So first of all, we should know the difference between adolescence and puberty. So puberty is the time, okay, in which the child will be transforming. The child will be transformed into an sexually mature person. Sexually mature person. So the process, the time, okay, the time is called puberty. The puberty is the time. Okay, puberty. So now this is where the child will be acquiring sexual characteristics, which will help them look matured in all sexual possible way. And all these are caused due to the sexual maturity is because of the involvement of hormone. Okay. So this is the best thing that you need to understand over here. So it is the hormone, which are the chemical substance which you have studied about, in the upcoming in the other classes itself. Okay, with which you'll be learning about it. Okay. Now, when we talk about the most important part, which is the adolescence. So adolescence is a time period, a time frame. Okay, the time frame between one particular time to another particular time. So it is a period. So that's why we call it a period. Period where, that is found to be between the puberty and the adulthood. The transition of a person who transforms himself from a child to a adulthood. So it actually falls between child, adult. So it is just a time frame in which, okay, the person will be undergoing puberty. So adolescence is a period of time in your life. That's when you will be undergoing the changes in your body. That's called puberty. Okay? So that's the difference between adolescence and puberty. So I hope you all understood the difference. So adolescence is a time period in which the sexual maturity is undergone, and puberty is the differentiation that is undergone. Okay, so that's the difference. So I hope everybody would understand the difference between adolescence and puberty. Let's go to the next topic. So the next topic literally helps you understand the changes. What are the physical changes that usually every organism will be undergoing, with male and female. So it's where the person will be more physically, mentally healthy, and psychologically, emotionally, this all the healthy thoughts, all of the constructive thoughts, all this should be inculcated into the child so that they could be able to transit from the process of childhood into adulthood. So the in-between period of adolescence will actually help should need help or will need help a lot, like, from the adult side, to actually help them undergo the physical, mental, and psychological and social developments that they need to undergo. Okay? They're going to undergo lots of bodily changes. So we're going to study. We're going to read all of them. We're going to know all of them. Study. So these are the changes that the boys undergo during the process of puberty. One is mood swings. So due to hormonal changes, okay, because hormones are responsible for things that is changing in our homeostasis. The homeostasis is kept stable. I repeat, homeostasis, Homeostasis. Homeostasis. It's a condition of equilibrium that is maintained by the hormones. When the hormones are actually going to be oscillating, it is obvious that the mood which is regulated by the presence and absence or the quantity of the hormones will be oscillating, will be switching up and down. So that's what makes the them undergo mood swing. And due to sudden hormonal changes, there will be a huge growth spurt. So growth spurt is suddenly the person who would be wearing size 26 and 24, suddenly he goes to 30, 32, in next few months of time. So I have experienced a lot of my kids who study in 8th standard. So once after I meet them after the vacation of 8th standard in the class 9, they would have grown mustache, their voice would have cracked, their body would have started to build, they would have grown taller. So all these physical characteristic changes I would experience, and probably they are not experiencing because they are going through the changes all by themselves. So once they observe somebody is going through, they'll be able to relate it. Okay, after a particular period of time. So the next one is the body odor. So once after, the body metabolism is going to be high. Once the growth is going to be high, when the body metabolism is going to be high, the liberation of heat, okay, metabolic heat will be so high. So to actually cool yourself down, you will be having a lot of sweating. So when the lot of sweating takes place, you will definitely get body odor. And when this body odor is not taken care, it will cause a lot of infectious diseases also. So next thing is body hair. So when you talk about body hair, your body would have had hair very, very small ones. But suddenly when you reach adolescent age, and then when you undergo the puberty part, you will start to have bodily hair almost everywhere. And when it comes to the next part, which is genitals change, where the muscular penis, in the case of boys, the muscular penis will start to have become enlarged. So that's what is symbolically represented as a small ball and a bigger ball. And here the testicular structure will be growing into action. So that's when the testicular tissue will get bigger. The testis will become bigger and becomes functional, fully functional in nature. That starts from the age of 13 and at minimum, and then up to 16, the maximum. So that's when they will start to produce the male reproductive fluid, that is the semen, which has the sperm in them. And then after that comes the pimples and the oily hair. So they will have hair all over, and due to this puberty period, in this time of adolescence, okay, they will have sebaceous gland, very active in nature, that will start to produce sebum. Okay, I will repeat, sebaceous gland, Sebaceous, sebaceous gland, and that actually produces sebum. So the sebum is just the oily substance. Usually people say the skin is so oily. It is just oily substance called sebum that is produced by the sebum gland, sebaceous gland in the human skin, which is actually having a lot of antibacterial properties too. And along with that, it also creates that stickiness on the skin. So that's why people who are in the an adolescent period, they are always advised to have a face wash on a regular basis to get the sebaceous sebum removed. So the next one is the boys actually get their voice changed. So in the chapter sound in physics, you would know that when the diameter of a pipe, is changed, when we shout through a pipe, which is of 3 inches and another one of 6 inches. So the 3 inches and the 6 inches will be having a if you compare them, like the 6 inches will be having a broader base to the voice when you shout through them. It's because of the widening. The waves will be like, the amplitude of the waves will be like, so much. It will be bigger. So as a result of which, what happens, the voice will be like, changed. The voice will be changed. Eventually, they will have a based voice. Like, this is called cracking of voice. That is because of the enlargement of larynx, the voice box in our respiratory system. The larynx is the voice box, and protrusion of that will result in production of Adam's apple also. So people who are, I'm actually like muscular and fatty, so Adam's apple is not distinctively visible. But for people who are like in the period of puberty and very thin, you will be able to distinctly see and observe the protrusion of like Adam's apple. So Adam's apple is not the biblical one. It is just the name that is given, but it is just the protrusion of the larynx out because of the hormonal activities. I hope you all remember this. So these are the changes that the boys will be like actually going through during the puberty period. Okay? And the changes that the girls usually go through during the puberty period is like, most of them are similar, but some of them are different. So we'll see the similarities, we'll rush through the similarities, and then we'll see the differences like in detail. So mood swings are again same as boys, like it is all because of the hormonal changes. So that is like universal. So you should not you'll always see that. Okay. And then growth spurt is also same, like suddenly the kids, because of the hormonal boosting, like they will start to grow in a rigorous manner. And body odor and body hair are like the same thing which that they will be having, boys will be having. They have the same thing because of the sweat and the hormonal impaction. And pimples and oily hair. So pimples and clogged facial pores will form pimples, and then the hair will be like growing everywhere in the region. So that's also the main important thing. In women, the mammary glands will be formed. So mammary glands are nothing but modified sweat glands. So mammary glands will be formed. You remember this? Mammary glands, which actually helps them produce milk. So milk is not produced by every woman who has breasts. So they become functional only after child's birth. So you should remember this point. Okay. So next thing is periods. Periods are nothing but a menstrual cycle. We are talking about menstrual cycle where discharge of the inner layer of the uterus takes place once after the uterus prepares itself for the process of reproduction, for the process of conceiving a child in their womb, in the uterus. So when it fails, so when will it fail? Once when the body receives the male gamete, so they will form the zygote and then embryo will be formed. Once they fail to undergo copulation, then the sperm is not deposited in the right time, and the ovum will not be fertilized, and obviously the endometrial layer, the innermost layer of the uterus, will become discharged because it usually prepares itself on a monthly basis of a cycle of 28 days in average, 28 days. Okay, that's an average. So you should remember this. So once after, this is actually menstrual cycle that they start to have. The first menstrual cycle is also will be discussed in the upcoming slides. The body shape changes. So if you see the person, like the women, will be having a leaner hip, and then now after the sexual maturity that they are undergoing, they will have a broader hip, wider hip, and then they will have protrusion of breasts. So these are the body shape changes that they will be undergoing, and they will become taller, and some of them will become very chubby. That is due to accumulation of fat molecules in the hip region and the buttocks region and thigh region. Thus, just to provide substitute for the hormones that they are going to produce. So these are the puberty changes that girls will be undergoing during the process of puberty. The next thing that you're going to talk about is secondary sexual characteristics. The secondary sexual characteristics are something in detail to what we have just seen now. Just pubic hair, enlargement of breasts, pubic hair, enlargement of breast, widened hip of females, and facial hair and Adam's apple in men. So when we see a table for that, It clearly includes menstrual cycle, breast enlargement, pubic hair, fat deposition, broadening of hip, high-pitched voice, which is for female, and pimples. So in the same game, only few things which are not actually like present over here. Broadening of shoulders, because men are muscular in nature and they are masculine in nature, and they should do more work. They are more laborious, work oriented. So when it comes to this, they should have a broadening shoulder. So this broadening shoulder will literally help them to perform the process of more weightlifting and work and stuff. So pimples is something that we have seen again, cracking of voice, and then enlargement of male reproductive organ. These are the secondary sexual characteristics that the human being will be undergoing during the process of puberty. I hope you all understood the process. So the next topic that we are going to look into is the hormones function in the reproduction. Okay? So now, when we talk about the hormones function, you should know something called pituitary. Pituitary. So pituitary gland is also called master gland. Master gland. Why? Master gland actually sends signals, okay, with the help of hormones. So these hormones kind of send signals to liberate or to release the required functions, or to perform the proper functions. The hormones which are released will be, okay, FSH and LH. So the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These are the two important hormones that are going to be released from the pituitary gland. That will stimulate, okay, the FSH will be stimulating formation of sperm in male and egg in female. Okay, I hope all of you understood this. So the luteinizing hormone will be resulting in formation of testosterone and estrogen in female. These are the functions of the hormones in this body. So the testosterone will be produced from the testis. Testosterone and sperm will be produced from the testis, and the egg and the estrogen will be produced from the ovary or ovaries. Okay, so these are the roles of hormones when it comes to reproductive function. So when this reproductive function is actually orchestrated with the help of hormones. When these hormones are not function, it is obvious that the person will not be able to undergo puberty, and there is no functional reproductive maturation. Okay, so these are the roles of hormones in the initiation of reproductive function. Okay, let's go to the next topic. The next topic includes what are the reproductive phases of life in human beings. So adolescent is the reproductive phase. So there are different phases. Okay, infant. Okay, and then child. Adolescence, adolescent, and adulthood, and then old age. So in this case, the period of adolescence or adolescent is actually where there is a reproductive phase. Why? Because the period in this, okay, is where the reproductive maturity actually takes place. And after that, in this period of adulthood, they will be completely reproductively active in human being. So in this case, what you should understand is the women and men, they have differences. What is the difference? They start to, in the case of male, okay, this is for male, they start from adolescence, and then the production of the sperms and the testosterone will be happening all through their life. But the number actually varies when they age. Okay, but in the case of female, okay, varies to age. But in the case of female, okay, it starts at age of 12. Okay, but the problem is it stops after somewhere around 45 to 50 years. Why this thing happen? Because there is a constant cyclic procedure called menstrual cycle takes place. In this menstrual cycle causes too much destruction of tissues and stuff. So constant tissue damage and nutritive liberation takes place. So the body will not be able to sustain tissue damage for a longer period of time. So it is just nature's decision for a woman to stop performing the reproductively active process by implementing a procedure called menopause. Okay, menopause. So this is the reproductive phase of life in human being. So let's go to the next one. So I hope everybody would have understood this. So the next thing that we're going to see is a few questions. So let's discuss them now. So which one is the adolescent period in this? Can anyone guess? See, okay. It's actually 11 to 19 years. So 11 to 19 years is the answer. So because we have already told you 5 to 10 is childhood. Okay, 20 to 24 is teenage. Sorry, not teenage. It is where they'll get transformed into adult. So older adult. So this is the period of transition where they undergo sexual maturity. That's the B part. So B part is the adolescent period. So next one would be, how many pairs of chromosomes are found in a nuclei for their cells? So chromosomes found in a nuclei of their cells. So this is with respect to a cell which is not reproductive in nature, because you should not get confused over here. They're talking about nuclei of their cells. Okay, they are not mentioned anything like a gamete or a body cell. So in the case of gamete, there is only 23, but in the case of body cells, it's called 23 pairs or 46. You get the point? So this differentiation should be noted down. So the answer is 23 pairs. Okay, because it is not gamete. So I hope every one of you enjoyed the discussion and got good knowledge on what is puberty and adolescent differentiation and the sexual maturity and everything. I'm really happy to have you in the class. I hope you learned more than what you have expected. If you have more doubts, please post this in the forum, and so that we can answer your questions, and then you will know what is learning. And to know more, join us in the live classes, so that you would understand the real fun of learning. And when you talk about live classes, I will definitely vouch for, tell you that that the live classes are much more interactive than these videos. So looking forward to have you in the live classes. Have a nice day, guys. Thank you so much.